The concept of divide and conquer exists on a multitude of levels. In one very clear way, it exists in the reality that for a time, there was a racial classification that forced people of all different nations to come together under being considered Black. Out of that formed communities, culture, ethnicity. However, out of that came a threat to white supremacy. The ostracizing of us into our own spaces, which in turn forced us to cultivate deep-rooted connections with each other that were grounded in ideologies and value systems that had nothing to do with the American capitalist ideals. Well, that was a threat to the American capitalist ideals. So they had to divide us. And it was so easy because after the civil rights movement, there was so much more access to other spaces that many of us simply lost sight of the connectivity that we had to each other. There was also violent efforts to push that forward. And so when we look at what we consider to be the Black community, I don't think enough people understand that this version of what you're considering the Black community is not the version of Black community that you may have grown up romanticizing and learning about and believing in. That was a community that was, by force of having to be together, found a way to be together. And far too often, I see folks in this version of our existence mistaking a shared racial classification for actual community. Actual community is not something that just happens. It is effort. It is love. And it is not always convenient. And when we sit up here and we disparage the folks that we claim to be in our community for wanting for our community, that is a great exemplification of how we are simply not a community anymore. We are a racial classification. And until we remember, realign, and reassess what it means to act as a community, that's all we'll be. Divided and conquered.